The FDA dropped a blog article today on drug shortages that I think gives us a little bit of context to understand maybe what's going on behind the scenes with the terzepatide shortages and all of that. Let's have a little look-see. See? Anybody? Side note, used to have this crazy professor that would make a statement and then look around the room every time he made like a definitive statement, and he'd be like, anybody? So let's have a little look-see. So here it is. I'm not going to read this in its entirety, but basically you've got drug shortage staff works with CDER. The CDER is actually the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. And the drug shortage staff is responsible for determining whether a drug is ultimately on the FDA shortage list, the master list. And for many drug companies, they must notify the FDA about permanent discontinuances and shortages. This is just basically outlining the law that establishes the self-reporting tool, which is our first problem, that this whole thing is self-reported from the same manufacturers that actually would benefit to have market exclusivity, right? Even in the face of unprecedented shortages. So that's our first problem. But it also says the DSS will consider that a product is in shortage if all the following exists. Now, this is nothing new. National supply for available product within the U.S. isn't adequate. Anybody? See? The manufacturer or other people making therapeutic equivalents can't meet the demand, and there's a shortfall also. And if there is notice from the public or practitioners about the lack of product available, which goes into the report the shortage. There's a drug shortage database, and you can go there and report your shortage when you cannot fill your commercially available branded medication. You need to report that to the FDA and let them know what's going on. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting also, because it gets into the fact that when a drug is in shortage, the DSS works with the manufacturers to basically prioritize, any applications they have that might help ease the shortage on other drugs, or prioritize and expedite an inspection or reinspection of manufacturing facilities that could help mitigate or prevent such drug shortage. Now, if you follow On the Pen that one of the best things that we do here is we follow the Eli Lilly earnings call. There's one coming up. Anybody? And basically what we've known for a long time is that they had plants coming on in North Carolina that could increase their capacity to make this drug by 50%, and that those were expected to come online at the end of the year. Now, could this always have been the plan with the FDA, and we just haven't been privy to the plan, that once that those plants came fully online, that they would be able to meet capacity? But that begs the question, are they online or are they not? And how much will the increase in their ability to make supply keep up with demand, especially if all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of people who were on compound have to go to branded medication? Now, that's not a hugely significant number when you consider that 75,000 people per week are starting on the branded versions of these medications, but it's still a significant bump. And also, we have to true up Eli Lilly's own words in the earnings calls when they told us that shortages would likely not be eased until 2026, when what? Orforglipron came out. That's their small molecule pill that they themselves said would help to be a pressure release valve for the shortages that we're experiencing in the current medications that they offer. So if that was their own words, I'd like to know what's changed. Also gets into a few other things that are not super relevant here, but that public notification portal where you can report your shortages, super, super, super important. There's some call outs here, drug shortages at fda.hhs.gov, a phone number that you can call there. You can report the shortage on their website. Just do a Google search for public notification, drug shortage portal. You should be able to find that on Google. And they will consider the medication resolved when the following exists. There's a lot in here, but the most important thing I think to notice is this little line here that says the firm has enough additional or reserved product prior to resolving. The other thing that I would like to know from Eli Lilly is that if you're sitting on a stash of medication, that's what the FDA said was required. If you're sitting on a stash of medication, then why are there people that can't even get a date as to when they can get their medication from Lilly Direct? Anybody?